Head coach Clinton Mylymok joining me right now. And coach, a big 4 points out of New Jersey. Your thoughts on your team's performance this weekend?
It was gutsy, but I thought our goaltending was fantastic. Dean's on Friday, especially in the first, gave us a chance to wake up, and then he was just strong all the way through. And it was kind of cool, seeing him, break the franchise record. And I know he was excited about it. It's something you don't think about as a goalie, but when it gets to about 5 minutes, you do. So I thought our guys actually did a very good job closing the game out and making sure that the task was going to be completed. And then Saturday, I thought all the way through we're pretty solid. New Jersey was very scrappy and competitive and went really hard and kept us on our toes most of the night for both games. But like Gatto was also fantastic on Saturday, where I thought, the strength of our team starts in net, and those two were great.
It seemed like almost kind of a playoff feel, just how tight checking and how, just all the stuff after the whistle, kind of that vibe. Did that seem to you the same on the bench, feel like a playoff game?
A little bit. I mean, the Rochester series was one where you just wasn't the normal type of game we've had. They had won 9,000 straight, and where they came here and then took it to us Friday, and then Saturday, it was a different feel. And then that game for sure, but New Jersey was coming off being swept in Maine, and so we knew okay, at least their coaches have their attention, and they competed really hard and gave us all we could handle. And so I thought because of that as well, A, we're a team that's playing well, and B, they just got swept, so they're at home and not happy, and you can tell they were playing pretty angry and with some pace and made it tough for sure.
When you look at the secondary scoring, a lot of new guys' names showing up on that score sheet, that's as a coach to see that coming, especially as playoffs draw near, you got to like that, seeing different names on the score sheet every night.
Yeah, and it's needed. You got to have depth in the playoffs. You can't just look at one line and, be on the bench hoping someone scores. It's not your line. You got to look in the mirror and find a way. And part of our strength too is our defense, chipping in and scoring and being part of the offense. So it's a fine balance of when to be aggressive, when not to, and how to be involved offensively. And the key is for the coaches to do a good job directing traffic and helping guys, score a little bit and challenging them too. You can't just sit back and say, geez, he hadn't scored in a while. We got to get him in the office and sit down. And that's where analytics comes into play. You kind of use your coaches, the eye test, but also analytics to back up. And then our job's to guide them and say, hey, maybe you need to get to the net more, and this is how you get to the net. So we got to be helpful too as coaches, and part of that falls on us to make sure guys are aware and ready to help out offensively.
One guy who has come in is Michael Sandrick, has made quite the impression in the first 3 games he's been in there. Talk a little bit about his game and what brought him into the Maryland fold.
Just size, another big forward who's got experience. He scored at this level. He's had those junior A battles. He's played at a higher level as well in the USHL, and we just feel like he was too good to pass on, and very fortunate that he is available. And I just feel like once he gets more comfortable with what we do and how we play, it'll be even better for him. But he's a guy that can score. He can play physical, a big body, and just that junior A experience is very helpful.
You talked about the goaltending being stellar, and both Brian Deans and Dom Gatto were solid, but the defense in front of them also limiting shots and chances in front. How has the defense kind of grown over the season, limiting the amount of goals just in general for you guys?
Yeah, I mean, when we play well, you can see it on video. You just see wearing our yellow jerseys, you just see a flock of yellow attacking on top of guys and seeing teams chip pucks in and not giving them any time and space. And that's always the hardest part is an O-zone, controlling the play as well, so teams don't transition because he threw a weak shot to the net that gets blocked, and now they're transitioning through the middle. It's being smart with our puck management. When we're good, our decision making is good. Our touches are really good. We're not sloppy and throwing pucks around and hoping. We're supporting really well, but working really hard. So defensively, it's always kind of been a strength of our teams. We want to make sure that we protect the house and we own middle of the ice. But yeah, you need to find guys willing to get into those battles, and I feel like this group, when we're on, like when they're dialed in, like we're really hard to play against because they're using their skill not just to score but to defend. And we have guys with skill that have that will to match it. It's really hard to find those easy chances, and then when they do, it seems like our goalies, when they're on, like it's pretty hard to score.
You guys are on the road this week, but when you come back, it'll be Old Bay night on that Saturday to end out the month. You've been here for now 4 Old Bay nights. Can you kind of talk to about how this is for the community, how this is to the team, and you've seen some of the jerseys for this year. How do you like those compared to the other ones?
Yeah, they're awesome. I every year, and it's not even what I like. It's more like I love seeing what the reaction is to our fans primarily, and then some of the local contingent and staff or fans. Like everyone's got their own tastes and jerseys and what they like, and it's always a fun night. The fans are into it. We seem to get some social media presence where you get some people who are online that usually aren't talking about those jerseys. Some Maryland locals, they want a piece of those jerseys and want to find how they can get one. So it's just fun. Like that's part of the job in minor league hockey and in junior hockey is you want to tie into your community and let the players that aren't from here understand like what it is, so they get an idea of like what it means to this area. It's a big name and it's a big deal for our fans, and it turns into a bigger deal for our hockey fans and our players as well.
Before we get there, though, Northeast this weekend. What's been the big talking points to the team to make sure you guys come back with 4 points?
Just the details. Like it's hard to keep guys interested in doing the boring stuff, and we got to find a way to keep challenging them to be great at the things that they can control. It could be a face-off, what they're supposed to do. It could be defensively, our structure within PK. Like there's always so many things. So our job is to find a way to challenge them and keep them interested in the boring things, and that's hard with teenagers. But like that's what separates us from other teams, I feel, is when we have their interest. And you just watch. I call it sounds of the game. If I turn away from the game and just listen, I can tell when we're playing the right way. When it's quiet and there's not a lot of movement and there's not a lot of contact, I can tell like we're not that interested. So sounds of the game, and hopefully they play some beautiful music this weekend.
That'd be nice. Snowmageddon coming up too. Also, you being from the prairies of Canada, know of this. What's your favorite snow time memory? If you had to
leaving the snow,
yeah,
that's probably my favorite memory. I think when I guess here would have been 21-22 season. Like I remember, I think it was a 4 hour. We're talking about that today. I think it took me 4 hours to leave. For some reason, I thought I was going to get to the rink. And it took me 4 hours to navigate my way through all these neighborhoods I've never been to and finally find Highway 3 to get to 50 and home because it was a nightmare. So that's quite the memory. I think as a youth, when you're a kid, I just remember, when building snow tunnels. I grew up a little bit in London, Ontario, which is a snow belt. So we get some of those days where school is canceled, which is every kid's dream, and then just enjoying being outside and building forts or tunnels and doing that stuff. But I think the outdoor rinks too, it's fun for kids where their parents as well, where you can find some outdoor rinks and skate for a bit. That's always kind of cool too.
Head coach Clinton Mylymok.